StephenASmith just settled an old score with Michelle Beadle. Here's what happened, man, oh man. What goes around really does come back around. And it looks like StephenASmith just flipped the script on Michelle Beadle in a way most folks didn't see coming. Now, to the casual viewer, this might seem like just another day on ESPN, but behind the cameras, there's been some quiet tension brewing for years between these two media heavyweights. Let's break it down. Michelle Beadle, for those who remember, was once a prominent face at ESPN. She hosted several high-profile shows, including Get Up and Sports Nation, and was widely seen as one of the network's boldest voices. But rewind to 2014, and you'll find the spark that ignited their long-standing feud. That year, former NFL player Ray Rice was caught on video assaulting his then-fiancée. Now we've a moment that shocked the sports world. When StephenASmith commented on the situation during an episode of First Take, many felt he was suggesting that women should be careful not to provoke violence. Take that drew intense backlash. One of the loudest voices calling him out, Michelle Beadle, she didn't hold back. She criticized Stephen publicly on social media, and insiders say she was a major influence behind ESPN's decision to temporarily suspend him. Her stance was clear. She didn't just disagree with Stephen's tech, she wanted consequences. Years passed, but the tension didn't. When Beadle parted ways with ESPN in 2019 after a contract buyout, she gave some parting shots in interviews. She revealed that her clash with StephenASmith wasn't just a moment, it was a full-on rift that had lasted years. Here's what she said. "I just don't respect him. I think he gets things wrong all the time. I'm not talking about opinions are subjective, but factually, when you spread yourself so thin, it's hard to be right." Translation: she thought he was more showman than journalist. And she didn't just disagree, she flat out dismissed him. Now, fast forward to today, and StephenASmith is sitting comfortably at the top of ESPN's throne. He recently teased a big announcement on First Take. It turns out, it might just be the ultimate full circle moment, though the details of the announcement are still unfolding. Many are speculating that StephenAS news marks a symbolic end to the Beadle era friction. Whether it's a new deal, an expanded role, or a creative venture. One thing's for sure, Stephen A is still standing and thriving while Beadle has been off the air for years. What makes this moment even more poetic? It's not about a clapback or a Twitter war. It's about longevity, relevance, and playing the long game. This isn't just gossip, it's a glimpse into how public figures navigate backlash, rivalries, and redemption in the high-stakes world of sports media. Beadle stood her ground, no doubt, but StephenASmith proved something else entirely. Sometimes, the loudest response is just ... winning.
Earlier today, I announced a new multi-year deal with SiriusXM where I'll be overseeing 2 new shows. The first will be a new daily sports talk show that will air on Mad Dog Sports Radio weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and re-air from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The second show will be weekly and will focus on current events, pop culture, politics, social commentary, the whole shebang. The program will air on a non-sports SiriusXM channel, in all likelihood, POTUS.
Michelle Beadle blames StephenASmith after her SiriusXM show gets axed. Well, things just got even messier between StephenASmith and Michelle Beadle, and this time, the drama isn't just old beef, it's fresh fire. So here's the latest twist. StephenASmith recently announced he's launching not 1, but 2 brand new shows on SiriusXM. Big move, right? And while some folks expected Michelle Beadle to throw shade at his announcement out of old spite, what actually happened took everyone by surprise. Shortly after Stephen A revealed his SiriusXM expansion, Beadle and Decker Michelle's own radio show with co-host Cody Decker was abruptly canceled by the network. And the timing, just a little too perfect. According to industry chatter, it wasn't just a coincidence. Reports began to surface that StephenASmith may have had a hand in that cancellation. Yes, you heard that right. Apparently, whispers inside SiriusXM suggest that as Stephen A negotiated his new content deal, the decision to pull the plug on Michelle's show came right along with it. Whether that was a power play, a scheduling shuffle, or just business, Beadle made it clear who she's pointing the finger at. End instead of staying silent. Michelle Beadle went public. She addressed the situation head-on with a bold, unapologetic tone and didn't mince words about how she felt regarding Stephen A's alleged involvement. Now, before we dive into the actual clip where Michelle lets loose, let's pause for a second. This moment isn't just a personal feud, it speaks volumes about the way power moves get made behind the scenes in media. Careers rise and fall not just because of ratings, but because of relationships, clout, and sometimes quiet revenge. Beadle's reaction wasn't just frustration, it was a mix of disappointment, disbelief, and a little bit of "I told you so." After years of tension with Stephen A. dating all the way back to 2014, when she openly criticized him during the Ray Rice controversy, this felt like another chapter in a long-standing Cold War. So now, with her show gone and Stephen A. rising even higher in the SiriusXM ranks, Beadle took to the mic one last time to share her thoughts. And luckily for you, we've got that audio. But before we hit play on that clip, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Seriously, it helps push this video into the algorithm and supports the channel in a big way. Now let's roll the tape on what Michelle Beadle had to say. And buckle up, because this one—
What are you guys doing? Because announcements abound. I heard Shine. The big three are back. Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is them responding to hearing the news and getting all the details of the news. They'll break that down, but just to let you know, that's the context. Them on air the same day they find out. Uh-oh.
What does that mean? Big what?
Big three, the dog.
Oh, you mean, well, if you want 2 hours of Jamal Williams needs to show up for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Wait, who's Jamal Williams? That's right, a guy who doesn't exist. And by the way, I'll have lots of these fun types of nuggets for you for as long as we remain on the air. Just as like an appetizer, amuse-bouche, if you will. Yeah, we're coming in hot today, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in hot. Yes, so the cat's out of the bag. I guess we're talking about it. We weren't supposed to, just as a heads up. We were only given a few hours notice, but we weren't told any details. We were promised that no details would be released. We didn't even know who was taking our place in the lineup. Just that it was going to be announced that new show was being added. Unbeknownst to us, the Hollywood Reporter, of course, had all the details. So it was a little embarrassing, I'm not going to lie. I've been in this business for 20 plus years. I've been treated poorly a couple times. This didn't feel good. I'm not going to lie.
StephenASmith reportedly got Michelle Beadle's show pulled behind the SiriusXM shakeup. So yeah, it's really looking like StephenASmith made power moves and Michelle Beadle's show got caught in the crossfire, being reported. There's a strong belief that Stephen A. didn't just coincidentally land 2 brand new shows on SiriusXM while Michelle's got canceled. Nope, a lot of people are thinking this was intentional. Behind the scenes, during negotiations with the network, it's very possible Stephen A. gave them a condition. If you want me on this platform, Michelle Beadle's show has to go. I'm not working under the same roof as someone who tried to take me down. And let's be real, StephenASmith isn't just a media personality anymore. He's the guy. He's ESPN's biggest name, a brand unto himself. When he speaks, networks listen. When he signs a contract, he's not coming. And quietly, he's coming in as the top dog. So what did SiriusXM do? They made a decision. They cut ties with Michelle Beadle and her co-host Cody Decker, effectively ending their show without much warning. According to Beadle herself, she was completely blindsided. She said she still had a lot left on her segments to fulfill, more work ahead, but all of that got tossed aside in what felt like an overnight decision. And if you've heard the audio, you can feel the frustration. Beadle wasn't just surprised, she was angry. Not just about the job loss, but about how it all went down. It was sudden, quiet, cold, and according to her, totally unjustified. Now, was it personal? Was it business? Or both? Well, when you've got someone like Stephen A. stepping onto the same turf as a long-standing rival, things get political fast. This isn't just about radio programming, it's about clout, control, and possibly a little payback. Michelle Beadle was once the one leading the charge for Stephen A.'s suspension back in 2014. Now, it seems the tables have turned, and this time, she's the one getting pushed out of the building. Let me know if you want a follow-up part that includes Michelle's actual response or a detailed breakdown of the SiriusXM deal.
Don't forget she was the highest paid woman at ESPN. And when you become that person, you don't become that person by yourself. She had powerful people with her, titans of the industry. Now, what interrupted that? You worked so hard to get all of this power, to get all of this cred, all this respect, and now some dude in the basement, Johnny Thunderbird, whoever you may be, can come at you. But that wasn't the worst part. You know what the worst part was? Now, your colleagues could come at you as well. So it was open season between them and you. So now you got two opponents. You got the world at large, the people, the fans, the audience, the people you're trying to impress, right? Win over. And then you got people you're trying to compete with. Not everybody's built for that. And the power dynamics, some of the people that were pissed at her were not the people you should have pissed off if you want to continue to stay at the top of that food chain. So they found it a lot easier. A path of least resistance was to look elsewhere in some of the decisions that came with her career. And she did as well. So in her quest to find her own and find what she wanted, which was to prove that she could be the top dog and earn it, what came from that is the contrast of all those other people who were playing the game, had the great relationships, who knew what to say, when to say it, where to step, what not to say, what not to step in. Seeing some of those people catch up, pass by, and that's where it is. StephenASmith, to me, in this situation, just collateral damage. They got beef over the Ray Rice stuff. You guys don't remember. He was trying to get a little detailed. He was trying to go to conversation. He didn't want to debate the Ray Rice thing. He wanted to dialogue about it and basically ask, hey, what did the wife do to contribute to this situation? Which is a very fair and adequate question. However, not the time to talk about it. And Michelle jumped on that, and then it ran and it ran. They still have this issue. Maybe it's one-sided, just Michelle. I'm not so certain if StephenASmith is returning the fire. Only thing about this, the news, when a network makes news and announcements and they make moves, they don't even have to tell you what they're doing, let alone how they're going to do it. So that's a little unfair to put on StephenASmith as people try to label him as the bully, when in reality things are just going well for him, and sometimes you just going to have to get out the way no matter who you are.
StephenASmith reportedly got Michelle Beadle's show pulled behind the SiriusXM shakeup. So yeah, it's really looking like StephenASmith made power moves and Michelle Beadle's show got caught in the crossfire, from what's being reported. There's a strong belief that Stephen A. didn't just coincidentally land two brand new shows on SiriusXM while Michelle's got canceled. Nope, a lot of people are thinking this was intentional. Behind the scenes, during negotiations with the network, it's very possible Stephen A. gave them a condition. If you want me on this platform, Michelle Beadle's show has to go. I'm not working under the same roof as someone who tried to take me down. And let's be real, StephenASmith isn't just a media personality anymore. He's the guy, he's ESPN's biggest name, a brand unto himself. When he speaks, networks listen. When he signs a contract, he's not coming. And quietly he's coming in as the top dog. So what did SiriusXM do? They made a decision. They cut ties with Michelle Beadle and her co-host Cody Decker, effectively ending their show without much warning. According to Beadle herself, she was completely blindsided. She said she still had a lot left on her segments to fulfill, more work ahead, but all of that got tossed aside in what felt like an overnight decision. And if you've heard the audio, you can feel the frustration. Beadle wasn't just surprised, she was angry. Not just about the job loss, but about how it all went down. It was sudden, quiet, cold, and according to her, totally unjustified. Now, was it personal? Was it business? Or both? Well, when you've got someone like Stephen A. stepping onto the same turf as a long-standing rival, things get political fast. This isn't just about radio programming. It's about clout, control, and possibly a little payback. Michelle Beadle was once the one leading the charge for Stephen A.'s suspension back in 2014. Now, it seems the tables have turned, and this time, she's the one getting pushed out of the building. Let me know if you want a follow-up part that includes Michelle's actual response or a detailed breakdown of the SiriusXM deals.